This is Shaun Sport in podcast form.
Oh, yeah, we're going to be talking about the Olympics with Titus O'Reily. You know Titus, we've spoken to him many times. In fact, Titus and Mick Molloy are doing a podcast which you can check out, which is called Sports Bazaar. And there's going to be some amazing stories that we've never heard before. Good morning to you, Titus.
Good morning. Good to be with you too.
Hello, Titus.
Very exciting in the lead up to the Olympics, Titus. You must be frothing, are you?
I am absolutely frothing. People are commenting on it in the street.
Before we start about the Olympics, Titus, do you dare show your face in public after Melbourne was smacked on the bum by Fremantle over the weekend for the second time this season?
I just got to say, we make losing to Freo look easy. We've done it in Alice Springs and we've done it in Perth now. And I actually trying to come over to Perth to do a live show later this year. I'm trying to book it at the moment, and it is terrifying me after the way Melbourne went.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I would have thought you would have learned your lesson from remember that preliminary final where you came over and Melbourne were playing West Coast and it didn't go well for your team, put it that way. Remember that?
Do
Titus?
I remember? I still see a psychologist about it once a week. I had to fill in a victim impact statement with the police because I went over for that, and I was in my Melbourne gear and everything, and I was all excited, and then it was obviously over in the first 5 minutes.
Yes.
And the worst thing about it was we played so badly that the West Coast Eagles were lovely to me. They were just they were bringing me beers and going, it's okay,
that's when
mate.
I feel sorry for you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there was a lot of pity.
You're doing badly when all you're getting is no one's teasing you. It's pity.
But to be honest, though, that would be
okay?
quite a nice life, wouldn't it? Just to be constantly pitied and then people to be like, oh,
Here's
you
another
okay?
drink.
Here's another thing.
Here's
Are you hungry?
That is my love life.
That's your love life?
Hey, Titus, I want to ask you about the things you have learnt about the Olympics as we're gearing up for Friday. Of course, actually, the soccer and that get underway today. I've mentioned that in the news.
Can I chuck one thing in that I learnt yesterday, Titus, that was I didn't know it was such a thing, but the fact that the athletics track is purple, it's never been purple before, Titus.
It's for the Dockers.
Well, it's in honour of the Dockers. So even the French are getting behind Freo for the flag.
Flag Mandel's alive.
I love the French. They go so deep. They're saying it's a homage to the ash tracks that used to be used in the original Olympics during Greece.
Obviously, they got it cheap.
Yeah.
That's what it's come from.
Cheap
someone
rubber.
put the wrong dye in, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
So it got fired.
Yeah.
What have you learnt, Titus?
The first Paris Olympics were in 1900, and they were a disaster. So, people didn't know until years later they'd even competed in the Olympics. So people were finding out in the 1930s. It was in 1900. 30 years later, they were being rung up and told, oh, by the way, that run you went on in Paris, that was actually an Olympic event. You're a gold medalist.
Are you joking? I don't understand that.
So they thought it was just like a sports carnival, but it turned out it was actually the Olympics.
Yeah, it was during the World Fair, and you got to remember this was only the second ever Olympics, so no one really knew what the Olympics were.
They were pretty low key.
You could almost just rock up on the day if you wanted to do it. And to give you an idea of how low key, when the long jumpers showed up, they found that there wasn't a long jump pit, so they had to dig it themselves. in the discus, people who built it didn't know what the discus was, so they built the stand basically on too narrow. So when people threw their discus throws, they went into the crowd, and the gold medal winner threw 3 into the crowd where he actually won. It had tug of war was a game.
Oh.
Pigeon shooting was there, and they actually used real pigeon.
Yes,
and they had pigeon racing as well.
Shaun.
You don't want to combine those two sports.
No, that's true.
Sean's family are from the pigeon racing world.
Well, can I tell you a quick story, Titus? On the weekend, I rang my dad to see if he'd come along and watch my boys play footy, and he said, oh, mate, the pigeons are coming in. Anyway, he rang me about half an hour later and he said, one's land, I'll just get the bastard in, and then I'll be able to get to the game. But he couldn't get this thing in to save himself. So
it flew all the way there really quickly and then wouldn't actually come inside.
It just wouldn't go inside. Cost him first place.
What a tragic pigeon racing tale.
I got an interesting fact from the Olympics.
Righto.
In the 1936 Games in Berlin, 2 countries rocked up and realised that they had the same flags, and they never knew.
Yeah, it was Haiti and Liechtenstein.
Yeah.
They
Oh, wow.
suddenly looked at each other and went, My favourite from the 36 Olympics is there was a boxer who lost on points. His name was Thomas Hamilton Brown.
Yeah.
And so he went home and he thought he'd been knocked out. So he went back to his the village and ate as much food as he could. And then they contacted him and said, actually, it was a mistake by the judges. They'd reversed the score. You actually won. And so he had to weigh in, but he'd eaten too much in pity eating.
This is why nuggets are banned from the village.
Oh,
this
that's
year.
right.
Titus, what do you think about the fact that they've banned McDonald's from the athletes' village?
Well, it's an absolute tragedy because it was the most popular restaurant by a mile. I mean, people ate, Usain Bolt, when he won in Beijing, when he won 4 golds, he ate 100 McNuggets every single day.
Yeah, well, he ran for 10 seconds, so, he really burns it off.
Well, he burns it off. And he said he ate some Chinese food the first day there and said didn't agree with him. So he decided the solution was to eat only McDonald's for the entire 2 weeks he was there.
It's hard to argue
100,
with
Nathan.
it.
Imagine sitting down with 100 nuggets a day.
Oh, it's too much for me.
Yeah.
But what gets me about this, Titus, is they're acting like they're children that can't be, making
their own decisions,
responsible decisions about their own bodies. But they're athletes. It's their business. It's their choice if they want to eat Maccas or not.
Well, the thing is, they used to often do it after they'd eat.
Yes.
So they'd say, they'd race, and then that was their reward.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where McDonald's had to bring in a limit of 20 items per customer.
Oh, really?
Because it's free.
Like
It's all
a limit
free.
of 20
It
per
was free.
customer, so people were getting over 20 items.
Yeah.
We're not talking
It
about
was
20
a line-
nuggets.
it was
We're
like
talking
a
about 20
nightclub
boxes
line.
of...
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing.
Because
Because in some countries, they don't have
don't
athletes
have
yet,
to.
so
Yeah.
yeah.
No, there was one athlete that said he said that he was a diver, and he said to his coach, "Do you care if I eat Maccas before my dive?"
Yes.
And the coach said, "No, can you grab me some Maccas too?"
Perfect.
Which shows you how bad a coach he was because he came last.
And Titus, just with your podcast, Sports Bazaar, some of the stories that you hear over this, are they
Wild.
Can you
They're
believe
wild.
that they actually happened? Unbelievable.
Yeah, they've all happened, but I always choose ones that you think that can't be true. I mean, still my favourite example of one you can't believe is true is we tell this in one of our episodes. In 1976, 2 New York Yankees pitchers attend a press conference to announce a trade.
Yep.
And everyone says, oh, yeah, that's, pretty standard in baseball. And they got up and announced they were swapping wives, children, and even the dog. And so it was and they announced this publicly. And one of the teammates says, I can understand swapping your wife and your child, but
your
why
dog?
would you swap your dog?
But not your dog.
Well, that was a real story.
Yes, Shaun, it's
That's
true.
100% true story.
It is.
And I'll spoiler alert, it didn't work out perfectly.
Yeah. Sean's wondering if it's still a viable
I don't
option.
know. I'm just thinking, okay.
Who do you want to swap with?
Jeez, this is going to be full on. I'll have to go through my phone and see how this will work.
But then again,
Well,
it would be hard
I
to
think-
say goodbye to Rex, Shaun.
Very
It's
tough.
pretty brave to be the first one to broach that subject.
I know, right?
Like if you knew another couple and you said, look, I'd just be the first to put this out there. How about we swap? That's bold.
Yes.
It's a bold move.
It is. Otherwise, it's a very awkward team barbecue. That's for sure. Titus, well, happy Olympics.
Happy
I'm
Olympics,
sure
Titus.
you're really going to be enjoying staying up late at night, watching every inch of the action.
Yes, no, it's that thing is within 5 minutes of watching something like the diving, Australians instantly become experts.
Yeah.
We instantly are like,
I'm like,
see what
their
she didn't
toes
do
separated.
pike at the end.
Yeah.
We're actually talking to Pav just the other day, Titus, Matthew Pavlich, and he's commentating the equestrian.
Yeah.
So there you go.
And literally just started learning a few days ago about the world of
He's
equestrian.
reading
Serious.
a book about ponies at the moment.
Yeah, he just found out it has horses in it.
You can check out Sports Bazaar. It's available wherever
So
you
good.
get your podcasts and YouTube. Thanks, Titus.
Thanks for having me.
See you, mate.
Everybody, we're-
Shaun Sport in podcast form.
Plenty happening over in Paris at the moment. The men's football tournament gets underway tonight, and so does the rugby seven. So they're
Yes.
already up in action. Of course, the opening ceremony
That
happens
must be
on
weird,
Friday.
don't you reckon? Starting
Yeah.
before they've officially started.
I know you feel a bit disappointed, maybe that you're not Mate, I'm not saying that they're all
Yes.
not going to do this, but some of them won't go out and they won't parade down the
No.
river Seine
Yes,
when it all
Seine.
happens.
Yes,
As the
yes.
Yeah.
Sen.
Seine. I want to say Seine.
That's
Seine?
I really love the fact that the opening's taking place on the River Seine instead of the track in the stadium.
It'll be
that's-
interesting to see
it's
how it goes.
Beautiful. Lady Gaga
Yeah.
apparently is going to be there for
playing
it.
the piano.
And we all throw the thing out. Why Lady Gaga? She's not French. What's she got to do with it? So in A Star Is Born, she sung a
Yes,
very
she
famous
did.
French
La
song.
Vie en Rose.
Here it is. They're thinking she's going to do this.
Yes.
Yeah.
On the Seine with
Amazing.
her white grand piano.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which will be beautiful. But
So-
yet, it's so strange because she's not French.
No.
So
No.
And usually you showcase your artists
Yes.
from your own.
Yes.
But this is a song, but it's weird.
Yeah.
But it's going to be amazing.
It will be amazing. Remember when the AFL had the grand final parade down the river and it
Yes.
was terrible?
It was terrible.
Like, I'm hoping this is going to be better.
I was thinking exactly the same because that's kind of like the blueprint of how it doesn't work out in their
Yeah.
favour. So there's a lot of articles at the moment with negativity around the games. Once it's all starts, it'll all focus on what's happening on the track. But one of the things that would just be an absolute frustration of mine would be going to the mess where you get to eat anything you want. Generally, in previous Olympics.
Yes.
Enrages me because they're being treated like children and they are professional athletes that can make their own choice.
So the chicken nuggets at the hall where you
Yes.
get to go and
Yes.
have
In the village, yes.
they have been replaced, and you can have like a vegan option chicken nugget. They don't do
Well, that's
chicken
not a
nuggets.
chicken nugget.
That's the only nuggets that are on offer. They have banned McDonald's. Now, Usain Bolt was famous for chowing down McDonald's. That was the
100%.
chicken
Yeah.
nuggets is
Yeah.
actually the thing,
Yeah.
Shaun, wasn't it?
And the other thing with that, Nathan, is they've done all the work right.
Yes.
So consuming
their
calories
events.
sometimes
Yes.
is a big deal.
Yeah.
And like after a
Yes.
footy match, right? So the guys have bought in pizzas and all kinds of stuff after a footy match because they need to just get the calories
Yeah.
in.
Yep.
What? It's their choice. Jumping Jai Tarima, remember him at the
Yeah.
2000 Olympic Games? He was the same thing. He grew up on that. That's what he ate.
Yeah.
That's how he was able to
Remember
be
the
successful.
the cyclist from Perth
Yep.
who
Yes,
he
the
ate
KFC.
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 Like, famously said that's what fuels me. KFC.
Ryan Bailey?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Well
How'd I
done,
guess
Nathan.
that?
Where did you get that?
What the hell was that from? Am I okay?
He's been absorbing sport reports
Mate,
all
you
this
got to hand
time.
back your gay card. That's ridiculous.
Oh, no, actually, right. Here you go, Sam.
Yeah.
Sam's one that issues them out.
So that was ridiculous.
No, that enrages me because you're professional athletes that have had to control
Yes.
their own bodies
Mm.
and what goes in them. And the fact that they've been treated like children,
Yes.
that you can't even have McDonald's there, that's bullshit.
And also
there's
the other thing,
800
Nathan-
baguettes a day going to be
Yeah.
served there saying,
Yeah.
sorry, what's going on the baguettes? Because
Yes.
a baguette with certain stuff on there can be more unhealthy.
Yeah, it's
And
going
the
to be a lot
other
of
thing
calories.
is
Yeah.
they go to the mess after they've finished
Yes,
competing as well,
Natalie.
when they can actually pig out and
Yes.
enjoy themselves for a couple of days. Why are they being controlled like that? It's just so bizarre.
Yeah, it is bizarre. And I mean, I just think about, and we talked about this a little while ago, where you are competing in the Olympic Games
Yes.
and once your event's done, they get the broomstick and they
Yes.
get you out of there like a quokka
Yeah.
over in Rotto when you're trying to make sure they don't come into your house. Mate, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Lisa Quokka's out of this.
Well, at least when they're brooming you up the bum to get out, you can go to McDonald's straight afterwards.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on. Hey,
Yes.
why wouldn't you?
Free nugs for everybody, we say.
Free nuggets.
Shaun Sport is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.